Martin Bashir. I really want to talk about Martin Bashir in this quiet place that I am. Everyone just left, so I have the forest alone for myself. And I really wanted to talk about Martin Bashir, how he destroyed my father's life. I don't even know the name anymore of the program, of the interview. I only know why my father Michael Jackson did it. And what I understand is that he did it because he wanted to show me what the new Michael Jackson was about. And my father, Michael Jackson, he was very sincere about his life in that interview. That was montage that to make Michael Jackson look like a crazy person. Well, he was so sincere. And I spoke to my people of my father's team, and I needed to call Sony Music because they wanted to tell me something. I was thinking, okay. So they specifically asked me to call because they wanted to talk about something. So I was thinking, okay, you want me to call? I was thinking, if you want to talk to me, why don't you call me? But anyway, they asked me to call. So I called Sony Music, and they prepared me about this interview, Martin Bashir, that I was going to see in footage of my father holding hands with a boy. And so they quite prepared me that the child molester case was coming. Michael Jackson made that video because he wanted to be sincere. And I think he also wanted to come forward in that interview about me, that he has a child when he was very young, and he wanted people to understand him, of where he come from. So that's what my father really wanted. And he thought, because Martin Bashir did such a good job with Diana to exposing the family matter, he quite manipulate her. But my father had faith in Martin Bashir because he wanted to also reveal something special, and he thought that Martin Bashir will be the right person, because Oprah Winfrey have already betrayed him by not supporting him in 1994 about the child molester case, the first child molester case. So he did that interview with Martin Bashir because he wanted to come clear. And if you look at this video, in my view, I don't see anything strange. The only thing that was upsetting is that my father hanged the baby under the balcony, Biggie, on the balcony. And I remember Sony prepared me for that I was going to see something that I don't. I remember calling Sony Music, said my father is not allowed to babysit my Joshua, because Joshua was 3 years old, something like that. And but I was just making a joke about it. But I said it was horrible, and I said to them, you know what? I want my father Michael Jackson to be. I want my father to go on television and publicly apologize for this mistake. And I realized very well, because he has all his cameras was on him, that he just really made mistake. Me as a mother, I also make mistakes with my child. Only the world media doesn't get it. And yes, the world media was right to be very upset that my father Michael Jackson hanged Biggie under the balcony. It was horrible, but it was just a second, but still horrible. But he, Elizabeth Taylor, the woman that I love, the woman that I'm grateful, she did an amazing job saying yes. He held the baby very tight, and she was very calm about that. She was very professional, and it was amazing for me to see then how much she defended my father. But it is an embarrassment moment in the life of my father. But still, if you look back in the interview, my father, Michael Jackson, he went and go very deep to express his feeling about what Joe Jackson have done to him and what was happening. And I was informed about this interview before it went on television. That was also something that I also knew, that this was really serious about what was going to happen and what will be. So I knew that the child protection was talking negatively about me because my ex tried to contact them, but it didn't work. And then in between, this Michael Jackson story came into my life in 2003. And Sony Music really was amazing. Give me the information to be prepared what was going to happen to my dad. Giving me inside info. In that moment, there was no way for me that I could go to court and do a DNA testing with my father, Michael Jackson, because he was fighting for his life. And I could only reach him by Sony Music, and they will give me the information that I needed. And so when people say that I was curious, I was famous hungry when my father, Michael Jackson, died in 2009, was murdered. It wasn't true, because legally I was already busy fighting with my father, Michael Jackson, in 2003. But because the child molester came in, I couldn't finish what my father wanted me to do. My father, Michael Jackson, wanted me to go to court and sue him and do a DNA testing with me. He created the Martin Bashir interview to give people an idea of the life he has lived and the abusing of really Joe Jackson, what he have done. And my father had a plan about how he was going to share me with the world. And that was, sorry, I have to cry. My father had a plan how he was going to share me with the world, and his plan was like this. I was going to sue him and put him in court, saying, Michael Jackson is my father, you damn asshole. you damn bastard, whatever. And then Michael said, oh gee, are you sure you're my daughter? Oh, yeah. Then Michael Jackson said, okay, I would do DNA. And then he said, oops, yeah, you are really my daughter. So he had to totally plan what he was going to do to let the world know that he conceived a daughter. And then he will do another interview with Martin Bashir, and then he will say, yeah, next time we did an interview, I couldn't explain to you, but I wanted people to get to know more about my background, so this is why I keep it for myself. So, and my father, when I tried to find him and tell the world that he was my dad, because I was so angry with him, because he pushed me. He knew how to manipulate me, push me, because he's an artist and a narcissist. You know, artists are good to get where they want. So, and then how to say it? it didn't go that way because the child molester case was coming in, and I had to stop everything because my father had to fight for his life to win this court case. But the Martin Bashir interview was really a step up to allow people to get Michael Jackson to get to know Michael Jackson in a better way, and he couldn't finish it that, and that was very hurtful for him and for me. So after when the trial was over, he was just really devastated. He was devastated, and he did not want that anymore. So if we talk about destroying people, Martin Bashir really destroyed Michael Jackson. Really, he did. And even then, after he said he made a videotape about the real interview, it didn't have any use anymore because people were already so negative surrounding Michael Jackson that it had no use. It had absolutely no use of him talking about me anymore. So he was destroyed. So what his video did prove is that Martin Bashir really have done him wrong and really have done him injustice. But because of the child molester came in, Michael Jackson didn't feel any more confidence telling the world about me. And when everything was going on, I was talking to his people, and I would say, why does my father not say that he has me as a daughter? Because then people know that he will not be a pedophile. And then people said to me of Sony Music, then people would say, listen, Michael Jackson is a liar, and maybe he is, etc. And what I'm trying to say in this conversation is that Michael Jackson, the interview of Martin Bashir is an amazing interview because I personally get to know my father in a way that I didn't know him before. And I love to look at that interview. So when I really miss my father, I go and look at that interview. My father also confirmed things to me, like I already knew that my father loved to climb trees, because in Haiti, as I'm writing in my book, my father always write trees. He climbed trees. My father have also climbed coconut trees to get coconuts out. He was very good in it. He wasn't really monkey. He was really good in his stuff. And it wasn't like he did that in the interview with in Netherlands. No, he really climbed trees with tow, a straw, and he was really good in that. So the Martin Bashir interview have really confirmed to me that he was my dad. It was mentally picking on me, that my father was showing, you remember this, that I did this, you remember that, you remember that, this, that. And that was great. So after the Martin Bashir interview, wherein my father really confirmed that he's my dad in everything that I remember, I remember that I cried. It was so special interview for me. Even the world was screaming, yelling, Michael Jackson, blah, 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 blah. For me, it was like he was confirming he's my dad, and I should remember, and I should not dare to not to remember. But it was the first time that I heard my father talk again. He repeated things about my grandfather that I already know. So it was so mentally um, um, revealing, mentally healing, that my father um, make sure that he said things on Martin Bashir that he have already said before and that I remember as a child. So when he talked about Joe hitting him with a stick and whatever, everything he could get, the way that he said it, the way that he did his hands like that, it was all the same as I remember that he told me as my dad when I was in Haiti. So when I'm very lonely, I really miss my father, I go to that interview and I just put the sound out and I just look at my dad. Just look at my dad, Michael Jackson. And I'm thinking, thank you so much for recording this interview. And Martin Bashir, no one will remember you, but Michael Jackson will always be remembered. And even in the eye of the public, it was a bad interview. But in the eye of me, his daughter, he confirmed to me he was my dad. He was really playing with my mind, let me tell you this. I was so angry with him. And I was so angry with him that I went to a psychiatrist. And I said, and I think it was the first time that I went to a psychiatrist, and I said to the psychiatrist, you may not believe me, but I need you. I want to tell you that Michael Jackson is my father, and he's playing tricks with me. He's playing with my mind. He's playing with my head. My head is hurting because, and my therapist, my psychiatrist, he was, and he said to me, why would I not believe you? I said, because he's Michael Jackson. And then he explained to me how many artists have secret children. And then he said to me, I even have artists who have secret children that people don't know. And they come to talk to me about their secret children. And that's when I feel very relieved. The same therapist, he was also the one that advised me that it was okay to give my child to his father for a while because I was dealing with that my son wasn't safe because people were finding out Michael Jackson was my father. Someone almost tried to kidnap him in Amsterdam. I told the story 1,000 times, but that was the moment. So in 2003, I went to a psychiatrist. It was the first time in my life that I said to someone openly that wasn't the father of my child. He was the first one that I openly said, Michael Jackson, my father, but he was a psychiatrist. And I said to the psychiatrist, I need you. I really need to tell you Michael Jackson is my father, and he's playing with my mind, and he's doing this and doing that. And my psychiatrist, he said no, that I wasn't crazy. He said, you are not talking about something strange or something that's not impossible. And I cannot tell you how important that moment was in my life, that I could confirm, that I could say that. And it was really, really very healing to me not to be alone anymore. So I don't really exactly, it was after the Martin Bashir Yeah, that was it. It was after the Martin Bashir recording, and my father was really pointing things out. So it was hard, really hard. And yeah. So I went to psychiatrist session to talk about my trauma, what happened to me, about the abuse in my in my um, in my childhood. We didn't go too far, but we went far enough. And the confession saying, you see this Michael Jackson who's being accused of pedophilia. He's my father. This is my father, and I also said to my therapist that I felt abused. I felt abused the way that Michael Jackson was handling the situation with me. But he did not know any other way. He did not know any other way. So I have forgive him that. So there is no doubt in my mind that my father is my father. Even I like to make jokes saying maybe Jermaine Jackson is my father, but I know he's not. So this was Mocienne Petit Jackson, and I want to say thank you for following my channel. Thank you for listening to me. I hope my story will inspire you to read my book, Thriller Betrayal, and Thriller The Dark Side of the Lens, because it's a memorial to my father, and I really want people to understand me. I really want people to get my story, and I'm very serious when I say that Michael Jackson is my father and what it really means for me. I don't want my life to be just a story on Google, crazy woman saying Michael Jackson is her father, and all this nasty tabloids confirming saying that I'm not Michael Jackson. Well, do they have proof that he's not my father? Because I'm still busy with my court case that I was kidnapped in Netherlands and all the horrible things that had happened to me. So the Dutch government case will be in court in 2023, not in 2022, the year that I'm living right now. And maybe right now the court is doing research about this matter, and time will see what's going to happen. But during this court that I was kidnapped by the Dutch government with wrong information that has nothing to do with who I am, where I come from, because there was not in any paper that Michael Jackson is my father. Things that are in paper were not correct, just like my age was, I was 3 years older than my kidnapping paper says. So nobody knows anything about me, then only I know things about me. And finding out when I was kidnapped that Michael Jackson is my father and he's one of the biggest artists in the world was devastating. So when Martin Bashir came and my father confirmed his way, my life that I have lived with him, and showing me the Michael Jackson that I didn't know, it was very devastating, and I needed help from a professional psychiatrist to help me deal with that. And I'm very thankful that he was the one and not someone else. So there was Mocienne Petit Jackson. Thank you for watching. I hope you are interested to read my memoir, my autobiography, Thriller Betrayal and Thriller The Dark Side of the Lens, so that you can be a part with me in this journey, finding out the truth of my past. This is what this is about. I want to say thank you very much, and everyone stay safe. And Martin Bashir, I will never remember you, but I will remember my father and the honesty and his love and his character. And even you are a very bad person, I'm happy with this amazing interview that my father have given. And my father's not a child molester case. He was found not guilty. And I'm proud with that, the way he have handled it. But I know this case have destroyed him and have led him to his murder. It was Mocienne Petit Jackson, Michael Jackson's secret daughter. I want to say thank you for following my channel, and I hope I inspired you to buy my book, Betrayal, Betrayal, the Dark Side Never Land. Take care, goodbye, and thank you again. Bye-bye.